Okay, so today we're gonna make oven fries, and I'm kind of excited about that because oven fries are so easy to make and delicious. And so we're going to get a chance to see all different kinds of vegetables that you can roast in the oven, and we're going to actually prep them and get them in the oven. So my oven is heated to 425, and it's ready to roast. So some of the vegetables that you could prepare, you'll notice that on my countertop back here, I've got some different things, and even something that's not a vegetable that I could roast if I wanted to. Pineapple is delicious roasted, so you might consider actually slicing up a pineapple and putting some on your barbecue or in your oven, 425 on parchment paper on a baking sheet, and after it's sliced up, and that could be delicious. Other things that roast up really well are carrots. Carrots are delicious, and they get even sweeter when you roast them, so that would be a good idea as well. And so you just peel them, and then if you cut them in little slices, you could do that. When they're cut in slices, they're called rondelets. If you cut them at an angle and you get those ovally discs, those are called obliques. So those are two different ways you can roast them. And then there's different kinds of potatoes. These are Murasaki sweet potatoes, and so you could cut them up and make them into oven fries. In fact, you guys could vote if you want me to make my fries out of the Murasakis, or if you want me to make them out of baking potatoes. Anyway, Murasakis could also be cut, they can be cut up into little sticks like French fries. They could also be cut into chunks and roasted for a side dish, just however you like it. And then the last thing I have is just some yellow potatoes, and one of the recipes I posted in Google Classroom today is roasted chicken apple sausage and potatoes. And so you can chop up potatoes and roast them in the oven, and then right at the end, throw some chicken apple sausage or any other kind of sausage that you might have on top, and then just make sure you finish roasting it until the sausage gets to 155 degrees. Did anybody vote about what kind of potatoes I'm using, Carrie? Nope. Okay.
Sorry, I was muted.
Oh.
So it's up to you.
It's up to me. Okay. Boy, it's a hard decision. I don't know. I'll decide in just a moment. I'm going to set these guys aside because I'll talk about them later. Anyway, just while I decide, I'm going to get my baking sheet ready. It needs to have parchment. I usually use a double layer, which is just a full sheet folded in half. So that the food doesn't stick to the pan, because especially potatoes, the starch in them really does stick and it becomes a problem. And then the other ingredients I need are just the vegetable I'm going to roast, whatever I decide to roast, and a little bit of olive oil, about a tablespoon, and you don't really need to measure it, just pour, Rachel Ray says pour 1 second, and that's 1 tablespoon. So there we go, 1 tablespoon of olive oil. If you don't have olive oil, any neutral tasting oil, an oil that doesn't have flavor, would work just fine. And then Johnny's seasoning salt, about ½ teaspoon. Just depends on what you want. You can always salt your fries more later. And again, I'm just putting some in there because I'm not going to ruin it by doing that. And then I need a rubber scraper. So no opinions? You're muted, Carrie.
Sorry. Yes, we've got an opinion. Mary would like you to make the Murasaki.
Okay, perfect. And I actually don't even know if that's how you pronounce them, because it seems like a weird name for a Japanese potato, but that's what they are. So these are weird because they are purple on the outside and not on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and take a potato, and they are already scrubbed. And then I'm just going to slice it in half. Whoa, these are harder. I haven't made sweet potato fries out of these before. Usually I bake them. If you open up your potato and you see any dark spots, just cut that off, set it aside. You're not going to use that. It doesn't mean the potato's bad. It just, potatoes can be that way. I mean, if it's throughout or it's slimy, that's something else. And then I'm just going to cut off the dry ends. And start making it my bâtonnets, or that's a French word for sticks. And I want them fairly thin or they will take a long time to cook. And I found another dark spot, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. And then I'm just making my bâtonnets. Sorry, my cutting board's kind of loud. I was trying to make it elevated so you guys could see what I do better. Otherwise, the stove is kind of in the way. And so it's pretty hokey in here, my little setup for cooking. But you know, it works. And I never thought I'd be making videos at home for school. So, you know, we're all flexible in these COVID times. And actually, there's a bunch of spots that don't make me happy. So I usually cut about 1/4 of an inch extra on something that doesn't look perfect. And so I've got my bolognese. And if I want them the full length, like French fries, I can. Otherwise, I can just cut them in half. Sure, we'll go full length. And let me finish cutting up my potato and get another one going here. I will say that I'm learning that these potatoes are much harder to cut than regular potatoes. So be really careful to keep your fingers clear so you don't cut yourself, because that would ruin your fries if you cut yourself. I had some drama when I was actually taking a tip off of a pastry tip out of a bag a couple of years ago and had to go to the emergency room. Mrs. Blankenship got to witness that joy. So sometimes accidents happen, but do your best to prevent them. Use the cloth so that you don't cut your fingers. Yeah, these potatoes are a little gnarly looking, but just use the parts that look good. Again, if they were slimy at all, I'd be worried about them. They're not. So I've got one potato. I need one more, and then we'll roast them. So one of the nice things about oven roasting is that it's quick and easy. And so like the other recipe that I showed that's oven roasted potatoes and chicken apple sausage, it's a dinner that I can get in the oven in 5 minutes. So if we've got a lot happening in my family and we need a quick dinner, I can just chop up some vegetables, toss them in a little olive oil and Johnny's. And by the way, if you don't have Johnny's, just use salt and pepper. Johnny's is basically salt, pepper, and a little sugar. And then it may have some other spices, but not enough to make much of a difference. A lot of the kick with Johnny's is just they have a little color like paprika and pepper. So you can make your own fake Johnny's very easily. Don't think that if the recipe calls for Johnny's that somehow you can't make it, because you can, and it will be delicious. Okay, we're almost there. Get all the rest of my potatoes into bolognese. Boy, my husband's going to be surprised that we'll have some French fries for lunch. There we go. Okie doke. So you can see that we've got our bolognese. We've got our...
you want to come over here?
And I'm going to toss this until they're evenly coated. The purpose of the olive oil is to make them more like a French fry and keep the potatoes from drying out in the oven. Some recipes go up to 1/2 cup of oil. Again, it's your choice. If you want to use more oil and you want it more like a real French fry, you can. Honestly, these are not going to be like real French fries at the store, like at McDonald's, because they dip them in deep fat, and they fry them. And when you don't deep fat fry something, it's not going to be exactly the same. They are still delicious. So we're going to go ahead and put those on our prepared baking sheet. We're going to make sure they're spread out evenly in a single layer. We want to make sure they're a single layer so that they bake evenly and quickly. The more fries on your baking sheet, the longer they will take. So I can't really give you an amount of time. And I have never made oven fries with this kind of potato. So you just kind of have to watch them. And when you think they're done, maybe pull one off the baking sheet and see if it seems like it's right, like by tasting it very carefully so you don't burn yourself. Anyway, I'm going to put that in the oven, and then I wanted to talk to you about a couple other things. In Leavenworth, about a year ago, I went to a restaurant that had the best ketchup ever. And I'm not one of those people that say ketchup is the best thing ever. Ketchup is like, I've never thought it was that special or amazing. But they put a little bit of curry powder in their ketchup for their French fries. And they're like, that's why people go there. It's their big old trademark. They think they're so special because they make their curry ketchup. And I came home one day and I was making oven fries and I'm like, I think I could do this. I mean, it's curry ketchup. So curry ketchup. Yeah. So I just took some curry, took a little ketchup, and you know what? That's all there is. So if you've never had curry ketchup, it makes ketchup, it's a little bit hotter and spicier and just a little bit more interesting. And dipping fries in it is delightful. So I'm probably using about 1/4 of a teaspoon, I think. And I'm mixing that up in there. And that's curry ketchup. So seriously, this stuff is delightful. And so, I don't know, Mrs. Blankenship has never heard me mention ketchup, ever, probably, unless we needed to buy some. Well, look at that. We've got a visitor. I'm so happy. Hi there. Welcome to class. Now you're a high school kid. This is delicious, and it's really good with french fries because of the saltiness of the french fries. Oh, nice. Okay, so I want to talk to you about that. One more thing. I don't know how these are going to taste now that I just ate curry ketchup that has sugar in it, but if you've never had kumquats, I found some of those. There's a little market by my house, kind of like a farmer's market, but they just bring in produce from all over. They've got like lots of Asian fruits and vegetables. They've got lots of like South American fruits and vegetables. They had these, and I was so excited. These are kumquats, and so they're little tiny, and they look just like an orange, except they're the tiniest orange ever. And so oranges you usually peel, and you find that, you get rid of the skin, and you eat the inside. The first time I ate one, I thought I was supposed to do that. That was stupid, really stupid. Instead, you just take the whole thing and bite it. And so the magical thing about kumquats, oh my gosh, that's good. It's really sour on the inside, the part that you think you're supposed to eat. The orange part, really sour. The skin, really sweet. And so they counteract together, and you get the sour, you get the sweet. There's a lot happening there. So if you haven't tried a kumquat before, and you see them, sometimes they'll have them at that little produce market on the way to Granite Falls. I've gotten there a couple times. Buy some kumquats. They are amazing, and you might be delighted with what you find out. Anyway, that's it for today for cooking. Well, I'll come back to the computer again, and we will talk about our lessons for this week and next. Alice is so blonde. The fries are fresh out of the oven, and they look delicious. They're golden brown. They'll be crispy, and I'm looking forward to eating them with that ketchup with curry in it. So yummy. Have a great day, and thanks for joining me. The fries are out of the oven, and they're crispy and golden, and I think they're going to be delicious. So thanks for joining me, and I hope you try some oven roasting. I think you'll enjoy it.